I've told myself I moved on, that I've accepted my brother was never coming back, that he was probably dead, that people disappear all the time, and you can either live in that shadow, or step out of it. But last night, at exactly 3:07 a.m., I got a voicemail from his number. Not a spam call, not a wrong number. His number, the one I used to prank call late at night when we were kids, the one that's been disconnected for the past 10 years. When I saw the notification, I dropped my phone. It was instinct. My fingers just gave out. I stared at the screen like it was haunted, and maybe it was. The voicemail was exactly 7 seconds long, and it was breathing. Just that. Breathing, shaky, wet, almost like crying, but without the sound. Just someone trying really, really hard to stay quiet. I haven't told anyone yet. Not my girlfriend. Not my parents. Not the police. No one. Because if I do, I'll have to open up the box I've spent a decade locking shut. But I can't ignore it anymore. My brother, Jamie, vanished without a trace when he was 17. One night he said he was going out to clear his head, and he never came back. No body. No blood. Just gone. And our family shattered into 3 silent islands after that. My mom stopped talking entirely for a year. My dad drowned himself in work. And me? I became an expert at pretending everything was normal. But Jamie was more than just a missing person. He was my best friend. My protector. The only person who knew what really happened in our house. And now his number is calling me. Why now? I listened to the voicemail again. Then again. On the 4th listen, I swear I heard something. Not just breathing, there was a sound in the background. A whisper. I had to crank the volume and press the phone to my ear. It was my name. Liam. My blood went cold. I'm not crazy. I know what I heard. And if Jamie is alive, then the nightmare we thought ended 10 years ago might not be over. I didn't sleep that night. I just lay there, listening to that voicemail on repeat, trying to convince myself I was wrong. That it was a glitch, a prank, a recycled number. Something rational. But I know my brother's voice. Even when it's just a whisper. Even through static. It was him. The next morning, I did something I haven't done in almost a decade. I drove back to my childhood home. It's not far, just over an hour outside the city, tucked in the hills where people leave their doors unlocked and pretend nothing bad ever happens. A place that smells like pine needles and rot, where secrets grow like mold in the basement. My parents still live there. Same furniture, same wallpaper, same tension thick enough to choke on. When my mom opened the door, she looked like she hadn't aged a day. Same blank stare. Same forced smile. Like a mannequin programmed to fake warmth. Liam, she said. You didn't call. Didn't think you'd pick up. She let me in without a word. The air inside the house was heavy. You know that feeling when you walk into a place where something bad happened? Where the walls remember the screams even if no one else does. That's what it felt like. We made small talk. I didn't bring up the voicemail. Not yet, but I did ask about Jamie. Just once. Just to test the waters. You ever think about him? I asked, pretending to look out the window. My mom's expression didn't change, but her hands started shaking. She was holding a coffee mug, some dumb ceramic one that said #OneMom, and I watched the tremor in her fingers rattle against the porcelain. We don't talk about Jamie, she said. You know that. Why not? Because he's gone. I let the silence sit there. Let it become a weight in the room. Then I said something I hadn't said in years. What if he's not? She looked at me like I'd slapped her, and for a second, just one fleeting moment, I saw something in her eyes. Not fear. Guilt. You should leave, she said softly. I did. But not before slipping down to the basement. Just for a second. It's exactly how we left it. Jamie's room still half finished, boxes of old toys, that creepy wooden hatch in the corner that we were never allowed to open. I stared at that hatch for a long time. Then I left. But I'm coming back tonight. Because if Jamie is reaching out to me, then maybe he never left this house in the first place. I waited until night. I told my girlfriend I was staying with a friend from work. Lied right to her face. I hated doing it, but I needed to be alone. I needed to be ready. I parked 2 streets away from the old house. Didn't want my parents to see my car. Slipped through the woods behind the backyard like I used to when I snuck in after curfew. It was almost fun back then. Jamie and I had this game. Who could sneak in without making the dog bark? Whoever lost had to clean the bathroom for a week. But there was no dog now. Just silence and the sick feeling that I wasn't sneaking in alone. The back door key was still under the stone turtle in the garden. My dad never believed in security systems. Said fear was for weak men. I let myself in. The air smelled wrong. Not old. Not musty. rotten, like something had been soaking into the floorboards for years. Something dead. I crept downstairs to the basement with just the light from my phone. Every creak in the steps sounded like a gunshot in my ears. The hatch in the corner was covered in an old rug, like someone wanted to forget it was there. I pulled it off. Beneath the hatch was a trapdoor, wood reinforced with steel edges. A heavy latch with a rusted padlock, broken. Looked like someone had snapped it recently. My heart was pounding so hard I swear it echoed in the walls. I lifted the door, and found a ladder, going down into pure blackness. I swallowed the fear and started climbing. Each rung creaked like it hadn't been touched in decades. The deeper I went, the colder it got. The air changed, thicker, heavier, like being underwater. At the bottom was a narrow hallway, stone walls, dirt floor. It wasn't part of the house. It wasn't even on the blueprints. I know, I checked years ago. Someone built this by hand. And recently, there were scratches on the walls. Some shallow, some deep enough to splint a stone. Fingernails. My stomach turned. The hallway curved slightly. Then I saw it. A room. At first, I thought it was empty. Then the light from my phone hit the far wall. Chains. Dozens of them. All nailed into the wall. All with broken cuffs at the end. And on the floor, scraps of old clothing. A boot I recognized instantly. Jamie's boot. My mouth went dry. I started backing up. Then I heard it. Breathing. Not mine. Not from behind me. From the wall. I turned. And there, scrawled in red across the stone, was a message. He's still here. I ran. I didn't look back. Didn't try to rationalize. My instincts took over and all I knew was get out. I flew up the ladder, slammed the hatch shut, and damn near tripped over myself trying to get back upstairs. But I wasn't fast enough. The kitchen light flicked on. My father was standing there. He looked older than I remembered. Not just in years, but in weight. Like something had been feeding on him from the inside out. "Did you go down there?" he asked. My throat was too dry to lie. I nodded. He didn't move. Didn't even blink. Just said, "You weren't supposed to see that." My pulse roared in my ears. I tried to stay calm. "What is it? What the hell is that place?" He sighed. A deep, tired sound. "You wouldn't understand. Try me." He pulled out a chair and sat down like this was going to be a casual father-son chat. Like we were about to bond over football or taxes. My hands were shaking. "Your brother. Jamie wasn't right," he said. "There was something wrong with him. Your mother and I, we tried everything. Doctors, therapists, exorcists, for God's sake." I stared at him. "Exorcists? You didn't see what he did when you weren't looking. He was 17, Dad. He killed the neighbor's cat and buried it under your bed, Liam. He broke into a nursing home and carved symbols into the walls. He whispered to something at night. Something I couldn't see. My skin crawled. So you chained him in the basement? He was a danger. To you, to himself, to all of us. Then what happened?" I demanded. "Did he escape? Did he die down there?" My dad didn't answer. He just stood up, walked to the sink, and stared out the window. "Sometimes I still hear him," he said. "In the walls, in the pipes, whispering." I couldn't breathe. "You left him down there to die." "No," he whispered. "We tried to burn it. But it didn't work." "Burn what?" He looked at me, eyes glassy, empty. "Whatever was inside your brother." I left the house without another word. My dad didn't try to stop me. He just kept staring out that window, mumbling to himself. Something about shadows in the corner, and watching through the vents. I don't even think he knew I was still in the room. I got in my car and drove. No music, no GPS, just the hum of the engine and the sound of my pulse hammering in my ears. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer, but something in me knew it was him. I hit accept and put the phone to my ear. Static, breathing, and then a voice. Weak, raw, familiar. "Liam, don't trust them." Then the call dropped. I pulled over and nearly threw up on the side of the road. That was Jamie. No doubt. No question. I don't care if it defies logic or physics or God, my brother is still alive. Or something wearing his voice is. I went back to my apartment and locked every door. I barely slept, just sat there scrolling through old photos of Jamie, trying to find clues I'd missed. There was this one, taken a month before he disappeared. We were at the lake, both holding beers and grinning like idiots. But behind him, in the woods, a shadow, humanoid, too tall, too thin, no face. I never noticed it before. And I swear to you, when I zoomed in, it moved. The next morning, I went back to the basement. Yeah, I know, I should have called the cops, brought a priest, maybe even burned the whole place to the ground. But this was my brother. I needed to know what happened. I took a flashlight this time. A real one. And a knife. Not that I thought it would help, but it made me feel less helpless. The chains were still there, the boot, the wall with the message in red, but there was something new. A notebook, water-damaged, moldy, but still intact. I flipped it open. It was Jamie's handwriting, no doubt. The entries were disturbing. They think I'm sick. I'm not. The sickness is in the walls. It whispers to me. It wants me to open the hatch. The real hatch. I saw Mom standing in the hallway last night, but her eyes were wrong. Black. Hollow. She just stood there, smiling. I don't think it was her. It said I have to stay. That I'm the key. That if I leave, it gets out. Liam, if you find this, run. I flipped to the last page. Just one sentence. They buried it under the floor. I looked down. Dirt. Freshly disturbed. I dropped to my knees and started digging with my hands. Nails cracking, skin tearing. I didn't care. After 5 minutes, I hit something solid. Wood. A box. I pried it open. Inside was a small black tape recorder, a bundle of Jamie's hair, and something else. A human tooth. Still wet. I didn't even realize I was crying until the dirt turned muddy with tears. The recorder in the box looked ancient, cassette style, cracked around the edges, but it had batteries. Against every instinct I had, I pressed play. Static. Then Jamie's voice. If you're hearing this, I'm probably already gone. Or I'm something else now. They think they locked me up because I was dangerous. But it was never me. I was the warning label, not the poison. It came through the floor, through the cracks. First in whispers, then in dreams. And then, it wore Dad's face. He tried to burn it, but it's tied to the house, to the blood in our family. I'm just the latest anchor. It feeds off guilt, of fear, of secrets. If it doesn't have me, it'll come for you, Liam. Don't come looking. Don't be the next cage. The tape ended with a strange sound. Not static, not breathing. More like guttural laughter, distant but echoing. Like it was right behind me. I turned, knife shaking in my hand. The walls were bleeding. I don't know how else to describe it. Dark liquid running down the stone, slow and thick. And it smelled familiar. Iron, rot, and home. I got out of there fast. My clothes were soaked. My hands were shaking so bad I could barely get my key in the ignition. When I finally got home, I locked the door, bolted every window, and collapsed on the couch. I don't even remember falling asleep, but I remember waking up. My phone was buzzing again. Video message. No sender. I opened it. It was footage of me, sleeping on the couch. From across the room. From inside my apartment. I rewound it, frame by frame. At the 18-second mark, something stepped into frame. It looked like me, but its smile was too wide. And its eyes, pitch black. I checked every inch of my apartment. Every corner. Every shadow. Nothing. But I knew it had been here. It still was. Watching. I drove back to my childhood home one last time. Not to search. Not to dig. But to confront. My father was gone when I got there. Door wide open. No signs of struggle. Just gone. Like he'd never existed. But someone else was there. My mother. The woman I hadn't seen since her accident. The one they said had died in a car crash. She was sitting at the kitchen table like she never left. Hands folded. Calm. Smiling. You are not real, I whispered. She tilted her head. Real enough for now. My knees gave out, and I sunk air across from her. Why are you here? Because you asked the wrong questions, she said. Because you dug. I want to know the truth, I said. No, Liam, you want it to make sense. But it doesn't. None of this does. The truth is chaos. It's blood and fire and teeth in the dark. Her smile cracked at the edges. Jamie wasn't the first. He was the fifth. My breath caught. What? There were 4 before him. All adopted. All special. All sacrificed. Why? Because the thing under this house demands it. Because your father made a pact before you were born. It gave him everything. A family. A life. A son of his own blood. You. And Jamie? Was the price. My vision blurred. I felt like I was drowning. Why are you telling me this? She reached across the table and touched my hand. Her fingers were ice. Because you are next. I don't remember driving home. I don't remember unlocking the door. But I remember waking up in my bed, the room too dark, too quiet, and the feeling of being watched. I looked at the mirror across the room. I was already standing in it. Not moving. Not blinking. Just staring. And then the reflection smiled. I stumbled out of bed and turned on the light. The mirror was empty. I looked around. Everything in my apartment had been rearranged. Slightly. Like someone had studied where I put everything and recreated it almost perfectly. But not quite. My toothbrush was on the wrong side of the sink. My photos were mirrored. And there was a note on the fridge. Written in my own handwriting. You're already gone. I knew I couldn't run anymore. This thing wasn't following me. It was becoming me. The reflection. The voice on the phone. the smile that didn't belong to my face. Piece by piece, it was hollowing me out like a puppet, and I was almost too tired to care. But something Jamie said on that tape wouldn't leave my head. I'm the key. If I leave, it gets out. So I went back one last time. To the basement. To the hatch. And this time? I opened the one I wasn't supposed to. Beneath the chain room was another door. Smaller. Wooden. Carved with symbols I didn't recognize, but they made my skin crawl. I opened it anyway. And behind it? A room made of mirrors. Floor, walls, ceiling, nothing but reflections. But the one staring back wasn't me anymore. Its head tilted at an unnatural angle. Its mouth twitched like it was trying to remember how to smile. And its voice came from every surface at once. It's not about who you are, it's about what you'll become. What are you? I asked. I'm what was promised. A future. A god. A truth you can't speak without tearing your mind apart. You used my family. No, I was your family. And then I saw them. All of them. My brothers. My mother. My father. Jamie. Their faces, flickering in the glass like old home videos. All smiling. All staring. Jamie was the only one who looked scared. You have two choices, the voice said. Join them, or trap me again. How? Your blood. Your body. Your soul. I looked at Jamie. He mouthed something. Don't. But I knew what I had to do. I reached into my jacket, pulled out the knife, and I ran it across my palm. Blood splashed on the mirrored floor. The room began to scream. Not in sound, but in light, twisting and bending like reality itself was cracking. The reflections shattered. The voices went silent. And then? I woke up. It's been a month. The house is gone, burned to the ground. Authorities said it was a gas leak. No sign of my parents. No trace of Jamie. But every mirror I pass? I see it. Not clearly. Not always. But it's there. In the edges. In the dark spots of my eyes. Waiting. Because I didn't kill it. I just made it part of me. And someday, it's going to want out again.